Now let's get down to the business of actually creating a table. And what I want to do in this video, which is entitled Creating a Table Part 1, I want to take just a couple of minutes and explain something to you that might keep you from getting somewhat confused and will help you understand how to read database diagrams and so forth. When I use some sort of interactive method for creating a table, and this came in SQL Server World, it came directly from Access and some of the tools they had there. When I create a table, I will see a construct similar to this, and at the very top it'll say something like column name, the data type, and the nulls. Now what I'm doing here across here is creating the columns that my table will hold. And so what I'm telling it is the first column, or the leftmost column, I want to call ID, and the data type that I want to store in that particular column is a small integer. Now we're going to dig into data types a little bit more later on in the course in a different video or two. But for now, just know that I need to be aware enough of my data types to understand the significance of choosing one that's large enough to hold my information, but not so large that I'm wasting a lot of memory space. And then you will usually see a column that says null or not null, and usually it'll just say null. And if you want to allow nulls in this column, you will just click it and it will put a check there. And so what I'm telling it here is my first column name in this table is going to be named ID. It will store small integers, and this means a number between, I believe it's 0 and 32,760 something. So if I try to store the number 50,000, it's going to give me an overflow or number too large error. And if I try to put a negative number, I'm going to have a problem in there. And I could be off on that, but the point is I can't go outside the limits of my data type. The column name for my second column will be the first for first name. And notice I've told it that I want to use the variable character, and I'll store up to 25 spaces. We'll talk about that later. And so I've just kind of continued to work down. Now again, each one of these rows in this particular table where I'm creating the table represents a column in my final table. And so this will produce a table that looks like this. Now I have inserted this row in here. But this table, notice this said the first column is going to be ID, and it's going to use a small integer data type, which means I can store numbers within a certain range. The column name first is right here, and I can store up to 25 characters, and so Bob fits in there nicely. Last is this column here, and it's storing up to 25 characters. And then status stores up to 8 characters, and I can allow nulls there. And in this case, I put the word certified, but I could have left it blank, and it would have stored a blank or a null value, meaning unknown there. So understand that when you create these tables in an interactive graphical user interface environment, you're going to see something that looks like a table, but when it actually is turned into a table or creates a table, it's like an Excel pivot. These things that are columnar here go across the page here. That seems really basic and common sense like, but a lot of people have trouble with that concept when they first come to databases and start creating those tables. By the way, when you do the database diagramming, this is the way you see the table structures on your diagram. You see them like this, and it's telling you that it stores data in this format. So now let's move to part 2, and we'll actually create some tables and let you see what that's like.